All right. So welcome to the reading of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. A lot of us have multiple roles, so I think we should just go around and say who we are and who we're playing. I'll go first. I'm Alexis Turrentine. I'm playing Ellen, Nora, Ruby Sue, and Helen Shirley. Anne?
Hey, I am Anne, and I am going to be Audrey and Aunt Bethany.
And Curtis?
I'm Curtis. I'm going to be playing Clark Griswold.
Yes. All right. Kate? Next, anyone?
I'm Jack, and I've got Art, Bill, Delivery Man, Cop, and Officer.
All right, you got your hands full.
I'm Logan. I'm going to be doing Rusty and Clark Sr., along with a young man in the office.
Awesome. George?
I'm George. I'm going to be Frank Shirley and Uncle Lewis.
Great. Jessica?
I'm Jessica. I'm going to be Francis, Woman, and Margot.
Cass?
I am going to be reading the screen description. I'm going to be Rocky, Catherine, and Todd.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Hunter.
I'll be Cousin Eddie and the Christmas tree farm man.
Awesome. All right, let's do this. Start us off, Cass.
All right, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, vacation number 3, The Griswold Family Christmas. A male voice sing, "Oh Come All You Faithful" fades up. Exterior countryside morning, Currier and Ives country, rolling hills, firm stands, pine and hardwood, barns and bridges. Into this timeless beauty roars a new aerodynamically styled Road Queen family Taurus with simulated wood panels hugging the sleek curves. The song continues. The voice belongs to Clark W. Griswold, Jr.
Joyful and triumphant, oh, come, oh, come to
Interior of the car, Clark's driving. His wife Ellen is next to him. His 14-year-old daughter Audrey.
Ruh-roh. Where are you? Narrator. All right, I'll start reading. They're all in the car. Ellen, Audrey, Rusty. They're looking out their windows. Clark clears his throat. He finishes the song in his deep, majestic voice.
Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, ba la 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 la. 'Tis season to be jolly, ba la 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 la.
Dad, can you explain again what we're doing?
We're kicking off our fun old-fashioned family Christmas by heading out into the country in an old front-wheel drive sleigh, embrace the frosty majesty of the winter landscape, and select the most important of Christmas symbols.
Sorry, I'm trying to let her back in. Sorry, we lost our narrator and I'm trying to let her back in. Anybody?
I'll read it. Tars drives through frame. An old battered pickup truck pulls up out of the road. Audrey leans forward in her seat.
Driving all the way out here so you can get one of those stupid ties with Santa Clauses on it, are we?
Nope, I have one of those at home. What we're looking for today is the Griswold family Christmas tree. Pickup truck pulls up behind a Taurus.
Sorry, we're having technical difficulty. I'm just trying to let Kate back in, Cass back in. Jack, do you know how to do that?
Well, you're the. Do you want to make me the host again, and I'll do it? Sure.
Sure. How do I make you the host? Sorry.
So, click my picture.
Make host.
Click the right corner of my
Got
picture,
it.
and it should say make
You're
host.
host. Okay. You're the host.
Okay.
I don't know why it won't let me back. I can't see her.
I'm not seeing Kate doing it.
I'm not seeing her.
Ah! Excuse me.
Mm. Okay, where are we? I'll keep going.
We are on.
Was it Ellen?
Yeah.
15, 5. Yeah, 6.
All right. Is it much further, Clark?
Nah, 3, maybe 4 more songs, and we'll be there.
Oh no.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. The Van Rusted pitted front bumper of the pickup truck pulls up within a few inches of the rear bumper of the Taurus. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Clark glances rear food mirror. He stops singing. The pickup truck crowds the mirror. Clark gets speeds up.
What's the matter?
Some jackass is riding my tip.
Oh, slow down. Let him pass.
Clark slows down and pickup pulls around him. Clark blasts his horn and snares as pickup pulls past him.
Clark, don't provoke them.
Hey kids, look, a deer. He points out the window. He just gives Clark flips the bird at the pickup driver. He looks at Ellen and chuckles, proud of himself. He turns back from Ellen and gas. He stomps on the brakes. The pickup is jammed on his brakes. The Taurus rides up close. The kids jerk forward. Ellen is hurled forward. Clark grits his teeth and nearly bends the wheel over. The farm boys look out a rear view window, laughing. They pull away. Clark is angry, committed to escalating the conflict, hits the gas. The Taurus squeals, hot after the truck.
Slow down.
You want to ride behind somebody who does something like that? I'm gonna get around him and leave him safer behind us. I'm gonna burn some dust here. Eat my rubber.
Dad, I think the expression is burn rubber and eat my dust.
Yep, and I hope you're hungry. Horse pulls around to pick up and passes it. Clark smiles and waves to the pickup. Eat my road grit, liver lips. A pair of inbred, red-cheeked young sheep bangers and an old man at the wheel watch as the Taurus passes. They are dressed in flannel shorts and dirty quilted nylon hunting jackets. Ellen shrinks down in her seat. Clark waves arrogantly. Taurus pulls around in front of the pickup. The semi hauling a load of timber has pulled behind the pickup truck. Clark smiles in satisfaction. That's enough of that anyway. Kids, speaking of Christmas trees, can one of you tell me what kind of tree was first used displayed at the White House?
Dad? They're back.
The pickup pulls in front of the Taurus. The semi is behind the Taurus. The semi pulls out to pass the Taurus. Clark watches as the pickup passes him again.
Clark, stop it. I don't want to spend the holidays dead.
Don't worry about it, honey. Clark returns his eyes to the road, hits the signal, and pulls out. Ellen, Rusty, and Audrey scream, and he sees that he's pulling into the truck. His eyes pop and he shrieks. The old man looks in his rearview mirror and does a take. He whips around. His two boys whip around and look out the back window. As semi returns to the proper lane, there's no Taurus. The two boys exchange bewildered looks. The Taurus is trapped between the front and back wheels of the high clearance trailer, running at high speed. Mud and road salt from the front trailer wheels is peppering the car. The family silent with shock. Clark's in a full sweat as he struggles to maintain the exact speed of the truck to avoid being caught in the rear wheels. We're right. Thank God we're all right.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
You honestly think I don't know that?
Come on, guys, don't fight.
Oh, for Christ's sake, I didn't do this on purpose. The truck barrels along with the Taurus beneath it. Clark is maniacally focused on controlling the car. Ellen and the kids are praying.
Forgive us our sins.
Is Lane right about why you got home so late a sin?
Just keep praying.
Is it a have to know?
Yes.
Forgive me for saying I was a Cassandra Reeds when I was really with Sam Marley under the railroad bridge in town.
Did you know about that, Ellen?
Obviously not.
The kid who got picked up for sacrificing June bugs in the cemetery?
This was before that.
What religion are we again?
Our Lady of Jesus, we are about to get crushed by a truck. Clark takes a deep breath, clutches the wheel tightly, and jerks it sharply to the right. The Taurus pops up from beneath the semi onto the opposing lane. Clark breathes a sigh of relief and turns on his wipers. Just ahead, a snow plow is pulled over on the shoulder, directly in line with the oncoming Taurus. Taurus rolls off the road and disappears. It's silent. Peace and tranquility, a virgin snowfield, a long beat, and the Taurus bursts out of the snowbank into the camera. The Taurus returns to the road, crossing the left lane, then the right, and off the road. A large permanent wood sign fastened with colored light reads Jolly Jerry's Saw and Save Christmas Tree Ranch. The Taurus blasts past the sign and into a makeshift parking lot, sliding sideways into a parking space. The family is frozen in horror. Clark puts the Taurus in park and turns off the engine. Hey, we had a pretty good time. The Christmas tree farm family stumble across the frozen earth between the rows of fir trees, shivering, cursing, grousing. We find Clark, Ellen, Audrey, and Rusty trudging through the snow. The family has a very hard go of the deep snow. Clark pays it no mind. Is this fair or fresh or what? Take a deep breath. Notice that smell?
Smells like pine sol.
And isn't that a Christmassy smell?
Clark, can we pick out a tree while we smell? Awfully cold.
My toes are numb.
There's a nice one over there.
Bum's all dead, hon. Deer probably left his leg on it.
Dad, didn't they invent Christmas tree lots so people wouldn't have to drive all the way out to nowhere and waste a whole Saturday?
They invented them, Russ, because people forgot how to have a fun, old-fashioned family Christmas and are satisfied with scrawny, dead, overpriced trees that have no special meaning. You know, kids, this is what our forefathers did.
My legs.
They went out into the woods, planted a special tree, and cut it down with their bare hands.
Mom, I can't feel my hips.
Clark,
Yeah, honey?
Audrey's frozen from the waist down.
That's all part of the experience. Clark scans the forest, somebody catches his eyes. He spies a special tree. There it is. Clark points at the family, runs to see what he's pointing at. A perfectly shaped Norway pine, a long beam. Clark strolls in the frame. Realizes that the tree is actually 20 feet tall. The Griswold family Christmas tree. From the top of the tree down, Clark looks up and admires the tree. The family gathers around him.
Clark, isn't it a little big?
Not that big. It's just small.
That wouldn't fit in our yard.
It's not going in the yard, Russ. It's going into the living room. Clark puts her arm around Ellen and Audrey. Ellen pulls Russ into the family embrace. Just look at it.
It really is beautiful, Clark.
Something else, huh, Russ?
Yeah, Dad.
Audrey, isn't it a beaut?
She'll see it later, honey. Her eyes are frozen shut.
The most enduring traditions of the season are best enjoyed in that warm embrace of the kith and kin. The three is the timber of the spirit of the Griswold family.
Dad, did you bring a thaw?
She realizes like you made a mistake, but doesn't care for a minute. Okay. A rotting double wide serves as the office and residence of Jolly Jerry. The family stands at the door. It opens. It opens to a sour-looking middle-aged man smoking a cigarette and wearing a dirty Santa hat.
What?
I hate to trouble you, but I didn't bring a saw.
Rules say a buyer provides own damn saw.
The painted sign of black letters on white reads, buyer pays in advance. Buyer doesn't use the ranch as a bathroom. Buyer don't cut down more trees than he paid for. Buyer provides one own damn saw. I paid $75 for a tree. I need some way to get it out of the ground.
You paid that much for a tree?
Honey, it's huge. It's cold. The holidays are here. I really appreciate if you could help me out. Scratches his nose and reaches around the door. Looks at the family. Sometimes you just have to ask nice.
Hey, Curtis, let Jessica read the stage direction for a little while.
I worry that you're gonna like
take a
pass
break.
out.
All right.
You're gonna lose your
No,
voice
you're
by the end.
fine. I just want to make sure you're not like having to do all
Oh,
of
no trouble, no trouble.
All right. Close up on the man. He holds up a shovel. He stares with alarm. Exterior highway in the Taurus. Clark's in the front passenger seat. He's frozen blue, clutching the shovel. The shot widens to reveal Ellen and the kids. They're also blue. We continue to widen until we see the car and the enormous tree tied to the roof. The car pulls ahead and overtakes camera. We see the full length of the tree, branches bound with heavy twine, and a huge root ball. Yeah. Griswold House, a fine upper middle class dwelling. The lights are on. The Taurus is in the driveway. The giant tree is resting on its root ball in the front yard. Rusty and a couple of neighbor kids are standing in the driveway looking up at the tree. Inside the garage, a chainsaw starts up. Garage door. The electric door goes up. Clark steps out of the dark wearing a hockey mask and brandishing a chainsaw. A couple in their mid-30s is getting out of a Saab parked in the driveway of the house next to the Griswolds. They're handsome, successful, modern suburban professionals, Margot and Todd Chester. They look to the Griswolds, wincing at the roar of the chainsaw. Margot crosses around to Todd to stand at his side.
Looks like the toad overestimated the height of his living room ceiling.
They have a chuckle, a compressed stiff laugh. They are clearly people devoid of humor. The giant tree is laying in the front yard, still bound with twine. Clark takes the chainsaw to it and cuts it in half. Todd, wearing a cocky grin, yells,
"Hey, Griswold, where do you think you're going to put a tree that big?"
Obviously,
Over.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Bend over and I'll show you.
His smile fades. He looks to Margot. He looks back at Clark, angry at the rude suggestion offered in the presence of his wife.
You got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, Griswold.
I wasn't talking to you.
She gasps in horror. The chainsaw revs up. The tree is in the rear corner of the Griswold living room. Clark's had to trim both the top and bottom to get it to fit. It's still wrapped with twine. The family is standing before the tree.
Clark, is there enough room for the star?
Oh, sure, honey. I have a little more trimming to do, but it won't be a problem. I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
He yanks on the twine. The branches are released and unfold into the room. Unwrapped, the tree is enormous. Branches extend deep into the room. A branch crashes through a side window. Another branch crashes through a back window. In the living room, a third of the room's square footage is dominated by the unfurled tree. The Griswolds stand waist deep in pine boughs. The tree is the same diameter at the top as it is at the bottom. It's a pine cylinder, 8 feet in diameter. Clark looks at Ellen, Audrey, and Rusty. He says nothing. They say nothing. Outside the house, the lights are on. We see the glow of a fire in the living room fireplace. In the living room, a beautiful fire. Christmas music is playing on the stereo. It's pleasant and calm, a nearly perfect holiday picture. Clark's wearing a cashmere V-neck. He's untangling a strand of lights. Audrey, Rusty, and Ellen are sitting with bowls of popcorn and cranberries in their laps. Clark has trimmed the Christmas tree branches and denuded the top 12 inches to accommodate the star. He's fishing lights out of a cardboard box.
I can't get my needle through the cranberries.
Popcorn falls apart when I pull a string through it.
Clark, the old-fashioned ornaments aren't working out too well.
That's all part of the fun, honey. You know, kids, years ago, people couldn't go out and buy their ornaments, and they make them from things around the old prairie homestead. Colored balls and mud, wood shavings, bits of yarn and string, ox horns, donkey tails, prairie dog whiskers. I'll get the lights up, and I'll give you a hand.
Close up on Rusty, he reaches into a bowl of popcorn.
Dad, this traditional stuff is pretty cool so far, but I think it might lose its charm if it extended to our gifts. I mean, you're not planning on making our presents, are you?
Sounds like fun, but no.
Rusty pulls a string and then a row of strung pieces of popcorn out of his mouth. In the living room, Clark disappears around the tree.
Clark. Oh, sorry.
Before we know it, you kids will be all grown up and
Clark, what are you doing behind the tree?
putting up the lights.
Nobody looks behind the tree, Dad.
If you just do the front, the tree's in balance. Believe me, if I didn't put the lights back there, you know it's different. Ouch.
Watch your eyes, Daddy.
I hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater.
I just swallowed a cocoon. Okay, all better. Have you ever tasted cocoon? It's a little like cashews, but not so salty. What do you say, honey?
In the kitchen later, Clark and Ellen are cleaning Clark's sweater. He's working on one sleeve, she's working on the other. She's picking individual needles off. Clark's herding them down the cuff.
Did I tell you that I talked to my mother?
And it's a shame they can't come for Christmas. I was so looking forward to seeing them.
I talked to her today. They changed their mind. My dad couldn't get a good enough deal on a condo in Florida, so they're coming.
Damn. Darn. Great.
Let's not forget whose idea it was to have the fun old-fashioned family Christmas here.
I complaining?
No, but I think you're forgetting how difficult it's going to be with all these people at our house.
Family, Ellen, not strangers off the streets.
They're family and they don't get along.
They get along.
All they do is argue. Who sleeps in what room? Who do the children love more? Clark, it's endless.
Christmas is about resolving differences and seeing through the petty problems of family life.
Yeah, and it's about my mother accusing your mother of buying cheap hot dogs and your mother accusing my mother of waxing her upper lip. And they stopped speaking for 3 years.
Your mother waxes her upper lip.
She has for years.
Sure doesn't show.
You really want to listen to my father and your father go at it over who suffered the most during the war?
It's all part of it, Ellen. You take the good with the bad.
The damage is done. They're all coming. But just be aware that it's not going to be all sweetness and light, especially since my dad had his back operation. He's extremely touchy about it.
No problem. That is going to spoil this Christmas. Not even your dad.
What?
Not even your dad.
Outside the Griswold house, the lights are out. Clark and Ellen are in bed.
How about a little home shopping?
Clark, it's so late.
Can I just thumb through your catalog?
Okay, if I can go through yours first. Oh, what a big catalog this year.
All the better to serve you it.
What's this?
You're in the sporty goods section.
So sick. What are you guys doing?
Ah!
Oh, in your hand.
Deleted scene. Go to Christmas calendar.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out like where to pick up on that. Christmas calendar of the sort that conceals each date behind a paper door. That's also known as an advent calendar. Clark's fingers open the first door to expose December 15th and a tiny illustration of a partridge in a pear tree. As Clark draws his hand away, the paper door sticks to his finger and he tears it off. Exterior downtown Chicago, the Loop, decorated for the holidays. Clark's office building, a new high-rise in the heart of the city. In the building, Clark and a coworker, Bill Burke, are standing at the coffee station, sipping, coughing, and chatting.
You'll be looking at a nice, fat Christmas bonus this year, huh? From what I hear, you have an excellent shot at being named Food Additive Designer of the Year.
Nah.
I'm not kidding. What's the new thing you have over at Food and Drug?
Non-nutritive cereal varnish crunch enhancer. It seals up cereal to prevent the milk from penetrating it.
The big question is, what are you going to do with that big fat bonus check? Blow it on yourself, I hope.
Me? Heck no. Take a look at this.
He removes a worn color brochure from his inside jacket pocket and hands it to Bill. On the brochure, an ecstatic all-American family frolicking in a deluxe in-the-ground swimming pool and spa. Bill looks at the brochure, sufficiently impressed.
You're putting in a pool.
Clark has a proud smile. In another corridor, a flying wedge of black wingtips march down the hall. In the office corridor, Clark admires the brochure over Bill's shoulder.
It's my Christmas present for Ellen and the kids. We're going to turn the whole homestead into our own private summer resort.
Boy, what's that going to set you back?
Can't put a price on happiness, Bill. Plenty, but with the bonus check coming, this is covered. I went ahead and put a $7,500 deposit down so they'll get started work as soon as the ground thaws. With the heater, we can be in that thing by May.
I guess you're the last true family man. Me? Christmas is a big pain in the ass. I got a sore face from smiling for 5 days at people I hate. I had the perfect holiday last year. Piled the kids in the car, drove by my sister's house, blew the horn, and threw the gifts on the lawn.
You're a sentimental guy, huh?
What's Christmas anyway but an economic high colonic?
In the office quarter, the matching... Let's try it again, sorry. The marching wingtips round a corner. Frank W. Shirley is at the point with two young men off his shoulders a few steps back. Shirley is a stern, stone-faced man in middle age. His minions are young, clean-cut MBAs. They march with military precision and serious purpose. The men stop suddenly.
Clem,
He
Clark.
clears his throat.
Clark. Nice to see you. Get back to work.
That's Bill, sir. My name's Clark.
Who asked?
Pardon me?
Are you the one who was working on the non-nutrient cereal varnish?
Yes, sir.
Giving a speech to a trade group. I'd like to mention it. Write me up a brief summary and have it to me by the end of the day.
My pleasure.
Layman's terms, none of that inside bullshit jargon that nobody understands.
Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Shirley? We got your Christmas card the other day. My family and I are flattered that you remembered us.
Corporate cards.
Oh, don't forget my speech, Bill.
I won't, sir. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Happy Hanukkah. He may not be the warmest guy in the world, but at least he's fair and he signs the checks.
Holiday montage. Salvation Army band playing. Crowded downtown department store. Cash registers ringing. Screaming kids on Santa's laps. Garish displays. Shoppers in and out of revolving doors. Businessmen testing toys. Santa's having lunch at a counter. Heaps of purchases on store counters. Gift wrapping. Lost crying child. Cash and credit cards changing hands. Hands rubbing sore feet. Businessman asleep in the mattress department with bulging shopping bags at his side. End of the montage. We're in a department store. Clark is in the lingerie department. He's peering into a display case. He looks up and freezes. Can I show you something?
Huh?
For your wife, girlfriend?
I guess it would be the Christmas season if the stores weren't any less hotter than they are. It's warm here, isn't it?
You have your coat on
What? Sure I do. How did that happen?
because it's cold out.
Could be.
So, you were looking at something?
You know, I couldn't help it.
Excuse me?
Gesundheit.
Do you want me to take anything out for you?
Oh, no. I was just looking for something for my mother or her wife. And obviously, she doesn't wear underwear. She's plenty of shopping days until adulthood. Which is to say Christmas, Yuletide, Yule, not as in Yule log, not a log. I didn't mean a log. I don't have a log. I mean, I do, but not in the sense that you think I said, which I said, but not to mention what I said when I said it. In other words, I'm late, and you've been very helpful and busty, and I enjoy talking about my log, and boy, this season to be huge married.
That's my name.
Huh?
Mary.
Oh shit! Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. In the department store, Rusty, he's moving through the crowds, package in his arms, looking for Clark. Through the crowd, he sees Clark at the lingerie counter. Clark's laughing and enjoying himself. Mary's showing him a minuscule pair of panties. He watches Clark with suspicious curiosity. He approaches the counter and Clark. These are high cut on the hip. I'm wearing something very similar. Can you see the line?
Oh yeah, sure. You can't see the line, huh? Can't you, Russ?
Yeah, Dad.
It registers that he just addressed Rusty. His eyes bulge. He snaps his head around to Rusty. Rusty looks up at Clark. Clark looks at Rusty. Complete terror. Clark and Rusty walk through the store loaded with lingerie boxes. Clark's in a nervous sweat as he tries to explain himself to Rusty.
Boy, did I get a lot of shopping done. And that funny-looking gal back there was so helpful.
Funny looking?
That wasn't fair of me. Unusual looking. So tall and skinny and top-heavy. The wide hips, the narrow waist, the real big eyes and lips, and if her cheekbones weren't higher, gee whiz, she'd have to open her mouth to put in her contacts. But she was nice, and she knew her underpants, and that's all that's important.
Dad, she was CoverGirl material.
Yeah, for like a medical journal, sure. Gee, I hope I remember where I parked the old Truckster.
Oh my God.
Dad.
Keep moving, Russ.
But Dad.
He pushes Rusty through a door and takes a look back at Mary. In the lingerie department, she waves to him. Department store ladies' room. Clark has a nervous smile. He turns and walks to the door. As it closes, we read a brass sign that says ladies. There's a collective shriek and a pair of sharp slaps. Beat and Rusty and Clark step out. Their hair is messed up. They both rub their singing cheeks. Outside the Griswold house, it's a clear, bright Saturday morning. In the kitchen, Ellen's at the kitchen table filling out Christmas cards. She looks up from her work with a troubled look. Some dreadful feeling grips her, and ominous music comes up. Interior Audrey's room. She's struck by the same uneasy feeling. She looks up from the gift she's wrapping. In the family room, Rusty's watching TV. As the feeling comes over him, he hits the mute button on the TV. Interior master bedroom. Clark's trying on a Santa beard. He's taken by the same awful feeling. He slowly removes the beard, a look of terror on his face. Interior foyer. Ellen walks in from the kitchen. She's nervous and tentative. Rusty comes in from the dining room. Clark comes down the stairs. Audrey follows Clark. The door knocker sounds. 3 hard, loud bangs. Close up on Clark. Frightened, he's looking at the front door. He cautiously approaches the door. His trembling hand grips the knob and slowly turns it. The door swings open to reveal 4 arguing grandparents. Clark W. Griswold Sr., Nora Griswold, Art, and Frances Pearson. Clark greets the grandparents with open arms.
Folks, Merry Christmas.
Clarky, sweetheart.
How you doing, boy?
Can't complain, Dad.
Frances is set upon Ellen and the kids. Nora breaks from Clark and pushes past Frances to Rusty. Art returns to Clark. Clark Sr. crosses to Ellen. Rusty, Audrey, Ellen, and Clark hold their positions as the grandparents move between them. Each family member is verbally attacked, hugged, squeezed, and kissed. 100 individuals overlapping comments and questions in 30 seconds.
Ready?
Let me
Clarky, sweetheart.
It's good to see you. Hi, sweetheart. You look so lovely. Are you getting
Oh, dear, you tell Clark I'm parking the other garage. It's a hot water situation. They drained a pipe of
be in
fluid
fucking
from lower
hands.
path. Lift with
He's in
me.
Hair makeup.
I didn't do my hair done again, but I'm not going to film your place again.
Oh my
I'm
God.
going to
Think
call
of
girl
those
scalded by
Clark, I don't have the
scalp.
strength to
Daddy,
boost your
the rub
mouth
down, have no
anymore.
color in your
Look at
cheeks.
those
Ellen has no
little
color in her
nice
cheeks. I
hills.
hope you'll dress up
That's
nice on
nice.
Christmas.
Dr. Grandpa Hart,
There's
he doesn't want
nothing,
to
remember
send
that
me back.
13-year-old.
I'll lay odds Art couldn't get a good
We
nifty
don't care for
condo
TV
when
in
you
the morning.
stop
We
for
prefer
holiday.
radio.
Let's see the
I brought my old sewing machine if you
Get a lot of moisture in the air. I have a sinus condition.
As they arrive, they exit up the stairs en masse, yakking all the way, leaving Clark, Ellen, Audrey, Rusty standing stock still. It's as though a tornado passed through. Ellen's face is frozen, her eyes fixed in a stare. Audrey's wearing an identical catatonic expression, her hair's messed up. Rusty has the same expression. He has a large, distinct lipstick print on each cheek. Clark comes to his senses. He smiles.
This is what Christmas is all about. It's going to be great. I'll be outside for a few hours.
Exterior Clark's house, garage. The garage door opens and Clark comes out carrying an extension ladder. Rusty follows with a huge carton of lights and decorations. Clark and Rusty are wearing their winter gear. Clark leans the ladder against the house. Rusty sets the carton down.
We're going to have the best looking house in town, Russ.
A lot of lights, Dad.
If I'm out in the cold and I'm committed to decorating the house, I'm going to do it, right? And I'm going to do it big. You want something you can be proud of, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Sure you do.
You're not going to overdo it, are you, Dad?
When have I ever done something?
Clark gives a tug on the strand, pulling a 3-foot ball of tangled lights from the carton. Exterior Todd and Margot's house, driveway. They exit their house, noticing Clark on the ladder. They're dressed for an evening out. I hope he falls and breaks his neck.
We'll fall for sure, but we're not lucky enough to have him break his neck.
Clark's climbing the ladder, dragging a strand of lights behind him. As he gets to the top of the ladder, it collapses, sending Clark crashing to the ground.
There should be some sort of ordinance prohibiting outdoor lights.
If we can't keep kids and dogs out of the neighborhood, we're not going to prevent Christmas lights. Clark resets the ladder against the house, climbs back up, and begins stapling light strands to the roof. Interior family room, dusk. Clark Sr. and Art asleep in wing chairs. They're snoring. Nora and Frances are watching a Christmas parade on TV as they construct a prefab gingerbread house. They have to speak up against the loud snoring.
If you keep eating the shingles, we won't have any left for the roof.
They're stale anyway.
Is that the fella coming from Jeopardy?
I don't know. It's the sports guy who married to the news gal with the drinking problem.
What?
Exterior Griswold house. The left side of the house is partially decorated. Clark is 20 feet above the ground, stringing lights under the eaves. He reaches over to secure a strand. The ladder tilts her with it from his weight, and one leg lifts off the ground. Encumbered by the lights and the stapler, Clark struggles to get both of the feet of the ladder back on the ground. As he leans into the house, he accidentally staples his sleeve to the roof. This temporarily stabilizes him. To free himself, he pulls the sleeve and the staple loose. This upsets his balance, tilting Clark and the ladder back away from the house. Right before he crashes backwards into the tree, he grabs the partially stapled strand of lights and uses it as a safety line to pull himself and the ladder back up to the house. Interior master bedroom. Through the bedroom window that faces the street, we see Clark struggling with the ladder, holding on for dear life to a strand of lights. As he slowly pulls himself in, the ladder crashes back into the house, slamming Clark into the window. Exterior garage. Rusty comes out of the garage carrying a 6-foot-tall plastic Santa.
Hey, Dad, where do you want Santa?
Let's put him on the lawn.
Exterior
Dad,
front. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Dad, I couldn't find the 8 tiny reindeer.
I think you're in the basement, Russ.
Rusty heads into the house. In the house, Ellen and Audrey are making dinner. They have to shout above the snoring in the blasting television set.
Would it be indecent to ask the grandparents to stay at a hotel? Can we at least forbid them to answer the phone? Alexandra called this morning, and Grandpa Clark said I couldn't come to the phone because I was going to the bathroom.
We're all making sacrifices, Audrey.
Everybody, are you sleeping with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted that is?
Well, I'm sleeping with your father.
Mom, I have nightmares about what he does in his own bed, alone.
Honey, I don't know what to say except it's Christmas and we're all in misery.
On the roof, Clark continues crawling along the spine of the roof. He loses his footing on a patch of ice, sending him sliding down the roof face first.
Holy Harry ho!
He grabs the gutter as he slides past, his body jackknifes over the eaves. In the master bedroom, Clark's body slams into the house and knocks a picture off the wall in the bedroom. Exterior house close up. He's dangling from the gutter. He looks to the side. The ladder is several feet away, resting on the gutter. The gutter has pulled 5 feet away from the house. Clark is clinging to it, moving cautiously toward the ladder, which still rests against the moving gutter. He begins inching toward the ladder, sliding his gloves along the gutter. It begins to tear loose from the house, sending the ladder crashing to the lawn. The gutter is filled solid with ice. The ice shoots out of the gutter like a spear. Interior Todd and Margot's living room. The ice spear crashes through the side window and impales the stereo. Exterior Clark's house. Clark, holding onto the gutter as it continues to tear loose, realizes that the lower roof is just below his feet. He lets go of the gutter, leaving him standing on the lower roof. He stands for a beat, feeling secure. Suddenly, his feet slide out from under him. He hits the roof on his stomach, shoots off like a rocket, and disappears in a cloud of snow into the bushes below. The front door opens the moment he lands.
Clark,
Exterior house.
dinner's ready.
I'll be right in.
In the kitchen, on the dishwasher, a grandmother's hand closes the door and turns it on. Grandmother's hand pours water into the coffee machine. There's stuff about the kitchen. Exterior house, Clark, Ellen, Audrey, and Rusty. Clark Sr., Nora, Art, and Francis are standing on the front lawn. Clark's worn and tattered from his efforts. His enthusiasm and excitement is unabated. He's holding 2 extension cords ready to plug them in.
You want to hurry up with this, Clark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Are you ready? 250 strands of lights, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 individual miniature imported Italian twinkle lights. 25,000.
I hope nobody I know drives by and sees me standing in the yard at the house, staring at the house.
They know your dad. They won't think anything of it.
Fire it up, Dad.
I dedicate this house to the Griswold family Christmas. Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Dad, Mom. Joy to the world.
With great drama and the sound of a crashing cymbal, the house is dark. Continuing their drum roll, dampened somewhat, Clark unplugs the cords, gives them a twist, revs up his drums again, and joins the extension cords. Nothing. The drums peter out. Clark continues, but at a lower volume and in an angry tone. He plugs and unplugs the cords a couple of times.
Beautiful, Clark.
Boy, talk about tinkling your money away. I hope your kids see what a silly waste of resources this was.
You worked really hard, Grandma.
Go do washing machines, but they don't make very good fathers.
Probably a bad bulb, son. If one goes out, the whole thing doesn't work.
Sorry, Dad.
Good try, Dad.
Clark? We'll be inside, honey. Don't stay out too late. You have work in the morning.
She leaves a nearly despondent Clark and slips away into the house before he explodes. Interior, Todd and Margot's house, living room. They've returned home. Todd's looking at the broken window. Margot's looking at the trash stereo system.
Something had to break the window. Something had to hit the stereo.
Why is the carpet wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot. But I'll bet it was that asshole that had something to do with it.
Exterior house. Clark sets the ladder against the house and begins to climb. Interior house, Nora and Clark Sr. are in Audrey's double bed. Their debris is all over the room. Medicines, trusses, clothing, suitcases. A room humidifier is spewing out cold steam. Nora is snoring softly. Clark Sr. is reading a teen fashion magazine with a flashlight. In the family room, Rusty and Audrey are sleeping on a hide-a-bed. She's on her back, awake. Rusty has his arm around her, his face against her ear. She pushes his arm away and his leg replaces it. She groans.
Off me, you little fungus.
In Rusty's room, a well-oiled babe in something indecent. The poster is taped to the ceiling. Art is laying on his back, staring up with mild curiosity. Francis is on the bottom bunk. Art's on the top bunk. Outside the house, a lonely figure on the ladder in the dark of the cold night. A sky filled with twinkling stars. Extreme close-up on the Christmas calendar. Audrey opens the door marked December 19th. Behind the door is a gingerbread man. Interior house, upstairs hallway. Clark peeks out of his bedroom. He looks up and down the hall, then sneaks out of his room with a two-handled shopping bag filled with wrapped gifts. He reaches up to the ceiling. On the attic stairs, full downstairs, Clark slips his finger in a brass ring and turns it, unlocking the stairs. Interior hallway, Clark pulls down the attic stairs. He does so slowly, but the staircase still squeaks. He brings the stairs down to eye level and stops. He listens to see if he's attracted anyone's attention. He looks up at the stairs. The steps, which are collapsed on runners, slide down and hit Clark square in the forehead, taking him clear out of frame. In the attic later, Clark climbs up the creaky stairs into the attic, rubbing his aching forehead. He takes out a gift and hides it behind the chimney. As he reaches behind the chimney, he notices something. He brings out a dusty gift wrap package. He reaches back around, stretches, grits his teeth as he reaches far behind the chimney. He pulls out another wrapped gift. He sets it down and again reaches behind the chimney. He finds another gift wrap package. He looks at the gifts curiously. He blows the dust off of the packages and reads the tag. The tag reads, "To Mom from Clark, Merry Christmas." He looks at another package. It reads, "Happy Anniversary, all my love, Clark." In the house, Frances comes out of the guest room. She sees the attic stairs down. "Gee whiz, feel the cold air coming down from here?" Clark looks at the third gift. It says, "Happy Mother's Day, love, Clark." Frances lifts the staircase and lets it crash closed. In the attic, Clark freezes. Exterior house, the Taurus is running. Clark Sr. is in the front. Nora is in the back with Audrey. Ellen's standing at the Taurus. She's going to drive. In the attic, Clark's on his hands and knees pushing on the attic stairs. It doesn't budge. It's locked tight.
Hello? Ellen? Somebody? Help!
Exterior house, Art and Frances come out of the house. Ellen calls to them.
Dad, is Clark coming?
How the hell would I know?
Was he in the house?
If he's not up on the ladder farting around with his lights, he must be in the house.
I'm sure he wants to go to lunch and shopping with us.
You got another car he can drive? Me? I have to eat so I can take my back pill.
In the attic, Clark works his way down the attic, heading for a small window at the other end. There is a narrow walkway of boards across the joists that runs from one end of the attic to the other. Except for this walkway, the floor is unfinished and consists only of joists and insulation. There's loose planks. Clark's foot steps down on the end of a plank and sinks under his weight. Clark, anticipating that he's going to be hit in the face with a loose board, quickly steps back. The board he steps on to flies up and smacks him in the back of the head. The impact throws him forward onto the first board, which flips up and slugs him in the face. Outside the house, Art and Francis get in the Taurus. In the attic window, Clark is pressed up against the small, dirty attic window, a look of defeat and resignation on his face. The Taurus pulls away and heads down the street. He watches sadly as it disappears down the street, and he sighs in utter defeat. He glances to the side and notices that the window is ringed with his inoperative imported twinkle lights. He reaches into his shirt pocket for a new bulb, opens the tiny window, and reaches out to test for bad bulbs. Interior department store, Clark Sr. and Nora are at the counter looking at manicure sets.
I don't see anything wrong with getting Rusty an air rifle. It's what he wants.
Ellen said no. You heard her.
Ah, right. Clarky had one when he was a boy.
And he put out all the windows in the garage and you threw it away. No, I think he'll be just as thrilled with a manicure set.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing more important to a young fellow than well groomed fingernails.
The set also includes a nifty toenail clipper.
Well, it's a heck of a nice deal, especially in the summer.
In the attic, Clark comes back down the attic from the window, returning the failed bulbs to his pocket. He reaches the boards that whacked him earlier. He gingerly steps on both boards, balancing for a moment. Suddenly, the boards fly up on either side of Clark, smacking him both front and back. Interior bedroom, the plaster cracks under the weight of Clark's feet, leaving the approximate shape of human footprints in the ceiling. In the attic, he's stepping between the joists, and in the bathroom, more cracked footprints on the ceiling. In the attic, Clark's rummaging through boxes looking for a coat. He finds nothing and crosses to another stack of boxes. Interior master bedroom, the footsteps continue across the master bedroom ceiling. In the attic, Clark's rummaging through another box. He comes up with an old wool scarf. He looks at it with a small degree of satisfaction. In Rusty's bedroom, the girly poster above the top bunk, Clark's feet suddenly break through the ceiling and tear through the poster. In the attic, Clark sunk to his knees to the attic floor. In Rusty's bedroom, a pair of legs standing on the top bunk. In the department store, Art and Francis are at a counter discussing a gift for Audrey.
Doesn't Audrey have a purse or gloves?
This is for when she dresses up. We'll have them monogrammed.
$110? Forget it. Let's go back to the toy section and get her that loom.
Interior attic, Clark is wearing an old fur coat, a hat, and white lady's gloves that he found among the stored junk. He's rummaging through boxes, resigned to his fate. Clark lifts the lid to reveal yellow Kodak boxes, the old home movies. He takes out several and looks through them. He smiles as the inscriptions on the boxes bring back pleasant memories. Shuffling through them, Clark's 5th birthday, Vacation to Toledo, Aunt Lou's funeral, and finally Xmas 59. He looks at the box for a moment. Music comes up. An 8mm film projected on a white shirt. A title card with the words in glitter. Cut to the Griswold house, a tract ranch house with a single string of lights around the door. Griswold family, Nora, little Clark at age 9, an ancient woman dressed in black, a young sailor, a smashed old priest, a middle-aged man with a loud sport coat, slicked hair, and a pencil mustache with his arm around a middle-aged woman in a low-cut dress. Sitting in the living room eating Christmas dinner on TV trays. A metallic Christmas tree stands in the corner, a wobbly pan across the people, squinting against the harsh light of the light bar. In the attic, Clark is sitting on a child's chair with the projector on a box beside him. The image is projected on a shirt hung from a rafter. He smiles at the old image. He watches the movie. Exterior house, day. The Taurus is in the driveway. The parents are walking carefully up the slick pavement to the house. Ellen sneaks up the stairs with packages in her arms. In the hallway, Ellen turns down the hall, stopping at the attic stairs. She reaches up and turns the attic stair lock. Clark, the chair, the box of memories, and the projector fall out of frame. Clark and his memories crash to the floor. Interior neighbor house living room. Todd and Margot have returned from a run. They're dressed in the best winter running fashions.
I want to take off these clothes and sit in the dark with a glass of wine and kiss every square inch of your body. After you shower, of course.
Of course. Exterior front yard. Clark plants a floodlight in front of the Santa Claus and the plastic reindeer and a sign announcing Merry Christmas in glittering plastic letters. He feels a degree of satisfaction with the new decorations, even though the lights in the house are still out of order. Outside the house, Ellen comes out to the front porch. She closes the door and steps down from the porch.
Clark, are you out here for a reason, or are you just avoiding the family?
No, but I still have a few hundred more bulbs to check. In the meantime, at least I can light up the manger and Santa Claus and the 8 tiny reindeer and the Merry Christmas sign. That should look pretty good. Ready?
Do you want me to do the drum roll thing?
No, it's okay. There goes nothing.
Clark grimaces as he sticks the floodlight plug into the extension cord input. Nothing. He stares in disbelief. Ellen winces. In the garage, the door from the house opens. Clark's holding the cord, staring at the house.
I don't understand it. House lights don't work. The floodlights don't work.
Is it plugged in?
Do you honestly think I'd check thousands of tiny little lights if I wasn't sure the extension cord is plugged in?
In the garage, Nora steps into the garage. She hits the light switch. And to your neighbor's house, Todd and Margot are sitting on their king-size bed in the dark. Todd's in his shorts. Margot's wearing a satin robe. They clink glasses and kiss. The moment their lips touch, the room is flooded with light. Exterior Clark's house. It's a spectacular sight. The home edition of the Disneyland Electric Parade. Exterior Clarkstown. The lights in the panorama dim as the house sucks power.
Clark!
Just a second, honey. I think I know what's wrong.
Nora crosses back to the door. She turns off the light. Margot and Todd climb off the bed and charge the front window. The lights go off. Margot and Todd, temporarily blinded, crash into a table.
Turn the lights back on, sweetheart. I can see what...
Ellen rushes into the garage. She hits the light switch and looks for the plug. Into your neighbor's house, the lights go back on. Todd and Margot are hopping around the room, holding their banged shins. The wine bottles fall into the floor, along with cheese and crackers and caviar and fruit, flowers, vase, and water. It's a terrible mess, made all the worse by the screaming bright light flooding into the room.
Ellen, I fixed it. Everybody, out, quick, look at the lights.
Art and Clark Sr. run in from the family room, the grandmother's from the kitchen. Into your neighbor's house, Todd has the cheese, fruit, wine bottle, vase, and flowers on the table, and is carrying them out of the room.
Get a towel, quick! There's wine all over the carpet!
Into your garage, Ellen sees nothing wrong. She heads back to the door, reaching for the light switch. Neighbor's house, the lights go out. Margot rams into an armoire. Todd takes a header down the stairs. Art and Clark Sr. come out to the porch.
What's all that yelling about?
Bewildered, Clark wiggles the cords furiously. In the kitchen, Ellen comes back in the house. She stops as something occurs to her. She thinks for a moment. On the porch, Art, Clark Sr., Audrey, Francis, and Nora are gathered on the porch looking at Clark.
What's he doing, Clark?
I haven't the foggiest.
Clark's twisting, shaking, whipping the cords and cursing. He throws the cords down and in his rage socks Santa.
Damn it!
On Santa, the face caves in when Clark slugs it. In the yard, Clark kicks the reindeer and the sign. In the kitchen, Ellen turns and runs back to the garage. On the porch, the family is disturbed by Clark's behavior. Clark rips the cords from the junction, spreads his arms wide, and with a great dramatic gesture, rams them back together. In the garage, Ellen comes back into the garage. She hits the lights. In the neighbor's house, the lights are back on. The room is blown out with light. The armoire is toppled. A television and component stereo is spilled on the bed in a tangle of wires and video cassettes, audio cassettes, and CDs. In the house, cheese, fruit, flowers, wine, the table, and Todd are littered down the staircase. The harsh light is spilling through the living room, dining room, and foyer windows. The lights are on for good. Clark is stunned that the lights work. The family comes down off the porch and onto the lawn, admiring the lights.
Wow, Dad, it's incredible.
Ellen comes out of the house and runs to Clark. He takes her under his arm, Rusty under the other. Audrey hugs him and they look up at the house with great pride. The family gathers around. A great swell of holiday music as we hold on the magnificently decorated house. Clark is in tears. The struggle, the frustration, the anger has paid off. The emotion is too much for him. It's a great moment of family warmth and love. Clark embraces Nora, then Clark Sr.
It's lovely, Clark.
You deserve a house like this to spend Christmas in, Mom.
It's a beaut, Clark.
Dad. You taught me everything I know about exterior electrical illumination. Dear Francis, I'll just ask your enjoyment of the holidays.
It's wonderful, Clark.
Art, Arthur, Dad, thanks for being here.
You got too many blue lights.
I know, Art. Thanks for noticing.
Clark moves from Art to the next person. It's Cousin Eddie. He's dressed in a cheap overcoat with a fake collar and a Kansas City Chiefs stocking cap.
House looks real swell, Clark.
Thanks, Eddie. I hope it enhances your holiday spirit. Catherine, dear.
Something's suddenly not right. Clark lets go of Catherine. He steps back and looks at Eddie and her.
Eddie?
The house is gorgeous, Clark.
Eddie?
I sure hope you didn't do all this on our behalf, Clark. You kids, get out here and see what Uncle Clark has done to the house.
Eddie? Eddie?
The biggest commercially available RV is backed in his driveway. The door opens and two little kids, a boy and a girl, Rocky and Ruby Sue, followed by a mixed breed hound, Snots, jumps out. Rocky's 6 and Ruby Sue's 5. The kids and dog run across the lawn. Clark is stunned. He looks at Ellen.
Eddie?
Ellen is equally stunned. She shrugs. She doesn't have any idea why Eddie and Catherine have shown up. Eddie and Catherine greet the grandparents as the kids walk up.
You don't remember? This is Rocky.
You got a kiss for me?
Better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got a lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
And you remember Ruby Sue?
Oh my gosh, her eyes aren't crossed anymore.
Something, ain't it? Falls in a well, eyes go cross. Gets kicked by a mule, they go back to normal. This here is our pride and joy, Snots.
Pretty name, Ed.
Named to that because he's got sinus troubles.
He snots. He sniffs, clears his throat, and spits. Clark looks up with disgust.
Snots, you roll over and let Uncle Clark scratch your belly. You never saw a set on a dog like this one's got.
It's all right, Eddie.
You rub his belly, Clark, and he'll love you till the day you die.
I really shouldn't, but my hands are chapped.
We would have called, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
Clark, you surprised?
Surprised? Eddie, if I woke tomorrow with my head sewed to the carpet, I couldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
We have plenty of room. Plenty of everything, I think.
Oh, we're pretty much set in the RV. It's a little tight, but we didn't come to impose.
Hell, there's plenty of room. Quit being so damn polite, Ed. You want to spend the holidays with 4 people jammed toe to nose in a motorhome?
Catherine and me are comfy in there, but maybe you folks wouldn't mind the youngsters shacking up with you. After that drive, we could use some time together. Honey, run and get the kids' things, and don't forget the rubber sheets and the gerbils.
Interior house living room later. Clark and Eddie are standing at the tree sipping eggnog. Eddie's wearing a flannel shirt tucked into sweatpants and leather tie boots. He's showered. His hair's combed back.
Nah, he's wearing this the whole time. Honey, I have a tree. Honey, I have a tree, Clark. Is it a real one?
Dug it out the ground myself.
Is that a fact?
Clark reaches under the tree. Snots is drinking the water out of the tree stand. Clark shoots the dog out from under the tree.
Hey, get out of there.
Oh, don't worry about it, Clark. Little tree water ain't gonna hurt him. Before we left, he drank half a quart of Pennzoil. Boy, when he lifted his leg the next morning.
Drink some water out there. She'll dry out.
Knots, get out of there. Go to the kitchen and get something to eat. Cute, isn't he? Only problem is he's got a little Mississippi leg hound in him. If the mood catches him right, he'll grab your leg and go to town. You don't want him around if you're wearing short pants, if you know what I mean. Word of warning, though, if he does start on you, you best let him finish.
I just can't believe you're actually standing here in my living room. I never thought the day would come.
I'm excited about it, too. It's a crying shame the older kids couldn't make it. I got the daughter in the clinic to get cured off the wild turkey, and the older boy, bless his soul, is preparing for his career.
College?
Carnival.
You gotta be proud.
Oh, yeah, he worked last season as a pixie dust spreader on the Tilt-A-Whirl, and he thinks maybe next season he'll be guessing people's weight or barking for the yak woman. You ever seen her?
Sorry to say I haven't.
Big horns growing right above her ears. Ugly as sin, but a real sweet gal and a hell of a good cook.
Can I refill her eggnog? Do something to eat? Right out to the middle of nowhere? Maybe you for that?
I'm doing fine, Clark. Just glad to be here.
Yeah, so when did you get the tenement on wheels?
That's an RV. I borrowed it off my buddy. He took my house. We took the RV. It's a good-looking vehicle, ain't it?
Beautiful. Looks so nice back in the driveway.
Sure it does, but don't go falling in love with it. When we leave next month, it's going with us.
What?
Exterior Clark's house. The house is glowing. Neighbors have gathered in the street and on the adjacent lawns. From several blocks away, the house continues to glow. Outside the town, Clark's house glows in the distance. Interior house, Rusty's bedroom. Art is staring at the ceiling. He's bewildered. 2 big footholes are punched through the bimbo's chest. It's not very nice. Art gives up trying to figure out what happened to the poster. He rolls over and settles onto the bed. He turns away from the camera, revealing that the back of his head is white with plaster dust. As he pulls the covers up around his shoulders, a cloud of dust rises. Interior family room, Rocky and Ruby Sue. They're sleeping in the hide-a-bed. A cage packed with anxious gerbils rests between them. Rocky smiles and we hear the soft splatter of water on rubber. We move off them to the floor and Rusty and Audrey. Rusty's laying on top of Audrey. She's struggling beneath his dead weight. Interior master bedroom, Clark and Ellen are in bed awake. The lights are off. The room is illuminated by the outdoor lights.
I'm not complaining. I just don't know how we can have a nice Christmas with Eddie here.
Well, they are sleeping in the driveway.
And isn't that a kick in the nuts? How can a house look like anything but a junkyard with a shack on wheels parked in the driveway?
You've never judged anyone by how much or how little they have, Clark.
No, and I never will. If Eddie was rich.
You'd be worse.
Good night, sweetheart.
Eddie's greasy fingers tear off a door marked December 21st on the Christmas calendar to reveal a sprig of mistletoe. He leaves a big smudge mark on the calendar. Exterior house on the Santa. Move up from Santa's crushed face to the house in the RV. The door opens and Eddie lets Snots out. Snots sniffs out the lawn. Outside Clark's office building. It's mid-morning in the business district. In the executive outer office, Clark pokes his head inside. No secretary. He tiptoes in, holding a poinsettia plant. He crosses to a door, knocks twice. In Frank Shirley's executive office, a vast room with an enormous desk. Shirley is seated behind it, having a conversation over the speakerphone.
Get Ed Leptic up here and have him look over these figures.
Mr. Shirley, Merry Christmas.
What do you want?
It's me, Clark Griswold. I have a gift for you.
Yeah, put it over there with the others, greaseball.
By the way, sir, hope my report helped out at the trade show.
I'm sure it did. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm in the middle of an important call.
He picks up the receiver. Clark turns to put the poinsettia on a sideboard and sees it's jammed with about 50 other poinsettias. Exterior highway, the tourist rolls through heavily wooded, snow-covered hills. A big wooden sign that reads, oh God, Oshkonagon State Park. Exterior sledding hill, night. A parking lot at the bottom, a warming house. Outdoor light illuminates the hill. Christmas carols are playing on the PA. Clark, Eddie, Audrey, Rusty, Ruby, Sue, and Rocky are at the top of a suburban park sledding hill. They each have a saucer sled. Clark's on one knee with his saucer sled upside down on the snow. He's shaking a spray can.
This is a new non-caloric silicone-based kitchen lubricant my company's working on. It creates a surface 500 times slipperier than any cooking oil. We're gonna fly down a hill with this stuff.
Has anyone ever put it on a sled?
Not that I know of.
Don't put none of it on my sled, Clark. You know that metal plate in my head?
How can I forget it?
I had to have it replaced because whenever Catherine revved up the microwave, I'd pissed my pants and forgot who I was for half an hour or so. Over at VA, they replaced it with a plastic one, and it ain't as strong. I don't think I ought to be sailing down no hill with nothing between the ground and my brain but a piece of government plastic.
You really think it matters, Ed?
Plate runs right under my part. If it gets dented, my hair ain't gonna look right.
Let me go first and see how it works.
Be careful there, Clark.
Nothing to worry about, Ed. Going for a new amateur recreational saucer sled land speed record, Clark W. Griswold Jr. Oh yeah, this is gonna be some kind of wild ride.
Clark rocks himself back, holding a split second, and pushes off. The sled flies off the peak of the hill. Exterior hill, looking straight down the hill, Clark's sled streaks down the hill, across the flat and into the dark beyond. One moment he's on top of the hill, the next he's gone. Exterior hill, they're stunned by how fast Clark flew down the hill. In the parking lot, Clark's sled sails through the parking lot. He's holding on for dear life, screaming all the way. Low and moving, he barely misses cars. People jump out of his way, and he's heading for a Jeep. He leans back and closes his eyes in anticipation of serious injury. Low, the sled shoots under the Jeep and out. Exterior street, Clark's sled flies out of the parking lot and onto the street. He reappears every few seconds as he passes through the pools of street lamplight. In a stand of trees, it's a heavily wooded area. Branches are breaking, birds are roused and squawking. Exterior shopping center, the charity toy collection box, a big red and green metal bin resting in the parking lot. Out of the darkness into the harsh mercury vapor light of the parking lot comes Clark and his sled. Sparks fly as he strikes dry pavement. Clark opens his eyes for a terrified moment. From his point of view, the collection box is coming up fast. A freshly painted Santa and the words "Ho, ho, ho" is on the red bin. He braces for the crash. On the sledding hill, Eddie and the kids in the distance hear a metal boom of Clark's impact.
Bingo!
In Clark's office, he's resting behind his desk, staring out the window. Bill walks in.
Clark? Staying late?
Just finish up a few things. Last day of the year for me.
Have a really Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. Did you get your bonus yet?
I just talked to my son. He said a messenger brought a company envelope to the house. I guess that's it. Nothing like waiting until the last minute. Did you get yours? If it's not already at your place, it has to be on its way. Don't worry about it.
If I don't get my bonus, I'm in it. Up to here.
Don't sweat it. It'll come. Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Bill exits. Clark is concerned that something's gone wrong. Exterior house, night. The exterior lights are on. The interior lights are off except for a single light in the kitchen. It's late. In the kitchen, Clark's in a red bathrobe, standing at the kitchen looking out the window. He's lost in troubled thought. Out the window, from his point of view, it's daytime. The pool is in and the kids are in the water. Clark has a big, happy, dreamy smile on his face. From his point of view, Clark and Ellen have joined the fantasy. Clark slips deeper into his fantasy. The music fades up. From his point of view, Mary, the girl from the department store, is bouncing on the diving board. Music's playing. She plays to Clark in the kitchen, waving for him to come out. Outside the house, seeing Clark in the window, he looks out. It's dark inside, light outside. Mary's reflected in the window glass. Clark's in his robe. He shakes his head no. He's embarrassed. Mary has a big, sexy smile. She mouths, "Come on." Clark from the outside, he begs off again. Mary reaches around her back and unfastens her top. Clark presses his face to the cold glass. Mary kicks off her bathing suit bottom. Clark's face is severely pressed to the window. The bathing suit bottom hits the window. In the kitchen door, Ruby Sue appears in the doorway in her pajamas, rubbing sleepy eyes. She squints. She sees Clark. Her jaw drops. From her point of view, Clark is leaning against the sink with his face pressed to the window. We hear a splash. Exterior swimming pool. Mary resurfaces and swims to the ladder. Close up on Clark, he's straining for a better view. Mary begins to rise from the water, and in the kitchen, Ruby Sue, her eyes are wide and her jaw is slack.
Holy shit, Santa Claus!
From outside, it's dark again. The pool fantasy has evaporated. Clark is startled. He lets out a sharp cry as he turns quickly from the window to face Ruby Sue. She approaches Clark.
Uncle Clark, are you Santa Claus?
Oh boy, you scared me. No, I'm not Santa Claus. I wish I was. I'll come your up, sweetheart.
Rocky bit my thumb.
Huh?
My mom puts bad tasting crap on his thumb so he doesn't suck it. So sometimes he sucks mine and he has a bad dream. Sometimes he bites me.
Oh.
Him's nervous because Christmas is almost here.
Excited or nervous?
Shit and bricks.
You shouldn't use that word.
Sorry, shit and rocks.
Don't use the S word.
Oh, him's nervous because he don't know if he's getting nothing.
Are you in school?
Firstest grade.
Great school, good school system. I don't think you should be nervous, and you shouldn't be either, because if you're good, Santa Claus knows it. If you believe in him, and you believe in your mom and your dad, and you've been good all year, Santa Claus will bring you something.
Sometimes I think all that Santa crap's just bull. If he was so real, how come he didn't give us squat last year? We didn't do nothing wrong, and we got the shaft.
I know for a fact that Santa Claus is real. Sam, next couple of days, I'm going to prove it to you. He comes to this house every year. I've seen him.
That's for true?
Across my heart. It's a good idea you came to stay with us, isn't it?
I love it here. You don't gotta put on your coat to go to the bathroom, and your house is always parked in the same place.
I think you better get back in bed.
How's come you ain't sleeping?
I was just looking for something. Did you notice a man came to the house today to deliver a letter?
No? How come?
Just wondering. You go back to bed now, okay?
Okay. You sure you ain't Santa Claus?
I can't even afford to be an elf.
Clark walks back to the kitchen window and looks out. From his point of view, Mary's bathing suit is lying on the frozen ground in the dark, cold, barren backyard. Interior kitchen, morning. Rusty, Audrey, Francis, Nora, Clark Sr., Art, Ruby Sue, Catherine, and Rocky are at the kitchen table. The kitchen looks like an army mess hall. In the living room, Clark's standing at the window looking out. Ellen walks in.
Aren't you having breakfast?
Not really in the mood.
What are you looking at?
The silent majesty of a winter's morn, the clean, cool chill of holiday air, and an asshole in his bathroom emptying a chemical toilet into my sewer.
She pulls the curtain aside and looks out. From her point of view, Eddie, unshaven in his bathrobe, black socks, brown loafers, a baseball cap with bare legs and a cigarette, is watching over a 4-inch black plastic corrugated hose that runs from the RV across the lawn to the curb in the sewer. Snots is on a rope anchored to the manger. The Santa, the bustled reindeer, and assorted trash bags are piled up on the curb. Eddie takes a drag of his cigarette, spits, and looks to the window. He notices Clark and Ellen in the window. He waves and smiles.
Shitter was full.
Have you checked our Twitter, Sonny?
Clark, please. He doesn't know any better.
I know that's illegal. That's a storm sewer. It fills up with gas. Pity the person who lights a match within 10 yards of it.
Exterior neighbor's house, front porch. Todd comes out the front door in sweats. He's on his way for a run. He notices a strange odor. He looks to Clark's house. From his point of view, Eddie's smoking a cigarette, kicking the hose to keep it flowing. The RV's in the driveway. Snots is tied to the manger. Eddie sees Todd. He waves.
Merry Christmas.
Todd is shocked. Eddie leans down and picks up Clark's saucer sled. The bottom is worn clean through. He hurls it toward the RV, intending to keep it. In the living room, Clark turns away from the window in disgust.
You know, Clark, I have this terrible suspicion that he and Catherine don't have any presents for their kids. Rocky said something about Eddie telling him that Santa wasn't coming this year.
Sue said the same thing like that last night. How could he not have anything for their kids?
Eddie's been out of work for close to 7 years.
7 years, he couldn't find a job?
Catherine says he's been holding out for a management position.
Jeez, what a worm.
Interior toy store day. A large chain toy store jammed with last-minute holiday shoppers. Eddie and Clark are strolling down an aisle.
How's live bait business, Ed?
Oh, can't complain. How are you doing?
Not that good, actually.
Company killed all them people in India not too long ago?
No, we missed out on that one. You're pretty well set so far as shopping goes.
Can't lie to you, Clark. The truth is, things aren't going good at all. I said I borrowed the RV from a neighbor. It's mine. We live in it. I sold off the house and the barn and the 10 acres. All I kept was a 50-foot plot and the pigs and the worm farm. If I had back all the money me and Catherine sent to that TV preacher that was screwing the hockey players.
Well, what about the kids?
I sent the money to the preacher himself. His kids can fend for themselves.
Your kids, Ed.
Oh, well, that's the bitch of it, Clark. I don't know what to do. We coasted into town on fumes. Gas money run out in Kankakee.
Ellen and I want to help you give the kids a nice Christmas.
I couldn't do that, Clark.
No, we insist.
I'm not one for charity, Clark.
I know that, Eddie, but it's not charity. It's family.
I don't know.
If you don't tell me what they want, I'll get the stuff on my own.
Boy, this is a surprise, Clark. Just a real nice surprise.
Eddie reaches into his pocket and pulls out a piece of brown paper grocery bag.
Here's a little list. Alphabetical, starting with Catherine. And if it wouldn't be too much, I'd like to get something for you, Clark. Something real nice.
Extreme close-up on the Christmas calendar. Ruby Sue's hand opens a door marked December 24th. Behind the paper door is a candy cane. Ruby Sue leans into the frame and licks it. Exterior Clark's house morning. A beautiful sunrise, except for the RV and the dog tied to the manger and the Santa and the broken reindeer on the curb. The house looks great. In the house, in the living room, gifts are placed beneath the tree. A floral centerpiece is placed on the table. In the kitchen, potatoes are being peeled. Catherine combs Rocky's hair. Art ties his Christmas tie. Ruby Sue lights Christmas candles. A table is set. Outside the house, the outdoor lights are lit. Close up on Snots. Eddie puts a ribbon around his neck. Music ends. Interior foyer, front door, dusk. It opens to reveal Clark and Rusty helping an elderly woman, Aunt Bethany, and her husband, Uncle Lewis, into the house. Rusty's falling behind them with their gifts. Uncle Lewis is in his late 80s, cranky, stooped, dressed in a tweed suit and sucking on a long cigar. Aunt Bethany is also in her late 80s, 4.5 feet tall, wearing a well-worn mink stole, a polyester pantsuit, and a hat. She's taking 2-inch steps, clinging to Clark.
Don't throw me down, Clark!
I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany. We're here.
Hey, Grizz, me and Bethany figured out the perfect gift for you.
Hey, Uncle Lewis, you didn't have to get me anything.
Damn it, Bethany, he guessed it.
Oh, that was fun. I love writing in cause.
Aunt Bethany, you look so wonderful. Hello, Uncle Lewis.
How do, princess?
Hello, Bethany. Lewis. Francis embraces Uncle Lewis. The rest of the family crowds into the foyer. Lewis shifts a cigar in his mouth to keep it from setting Francis's hair on fire.
Watch this stinkeroo. I don't want you to burn down your wig.
Who are the old geezers?
That's your mom and my mom's great aunt and uncle.
What's so great about them?
Interior foyer, Helen helps Bethany off with her stole. Clark tries to help Lewis with his.
Get your fingers out of my armpits.
He peels off his hat and hands it to Clark. He's bald. Clark looks at Lewis curiously. Something's not right. He looks at the hat. A gray toupee is inside the hat. Lewis has removed his hat and his hair. Clark takes the toupee out of the hat and attempts to place it back on Lewis's head. He stands behind Lewis waiting for his opportunity.
Where do you want the presents, Mom?
In the living room, thanks. Aunt Bethany, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh dear. Did I break wind?
Jesus, did the room clear out, Bethany? Hell no, she means presents. You shouldn't have brought presents.
Clark tries to drop the toupee on Lewis's head. He moves forward. Ellen sees him. He explains what happened in gesture.
Well, heavens, it isn't every day that somebody moves into a new house.
They didn't move to a new house.
You'll have to speak up, dear.
Uncle Lewis throws his arms in the air and heads for the living room. Clark flips the toupee frisbee style at Lewis. The toupee lands on his head. He looks up. He pats his head and straightens his toupee. Clark takes Bethany's coat from Ellen and hangs Lewis's and her coats in the closet.
Mom?
Just put the presents in the living room.
Mom.
Not tomorrow, Rusty. Now.
This house is much bigger than your old one.
Why don't you go with Catherine into the living room and say hello to everyone?
Oh, sure. Hello, everybody.
Mom?
What?
This box is meowing.
Clark takes the box from Rusty. He shakes it. From inside, we hear a muted cat's meow.
Strapped to a damn cat.
Take it into the kitchen and open it up.
You don't have a cat running around.
You can't leave it in the box.
Why would somebody wrap a cat in a box?
She gets confused, Rusty. She's old. She and Uncle Lewis don't have much money. She takes things from around the house and wraps them up as gifts.
Oh, great. Can't wait to see what I got.
This one's leaking. It's cherry flavored.
Oh, God. It's her Jell-O mold. I'll take it. Everybody, just go into the living room.
In the living room, Aunt Bethany is sitting with a fat Persian cat in her lap. Lewis, Clark, and Eddie are standing at the tree, Audrey sitting next to her.
I have a cat just like this at home.
Clark, that's the ugliest goddamn Christmas tree I've ever did see. What the hell did you do to it? I'm glad I'm not sleeping here tonight.
You and me both.
This son of a bitch can't wait to catch fire and kill a household.
Boy, do you smell that?
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry.
The turkey, Bethany. He's smelling the turkey.
In the dining room, a close-up on the turkey. It's a magnificent 20-pound turkey. Perfectly prepared, perfectly presented. Clark looks up from the turkey with delight.
Catherine, if your turkey tastes as half as good as it looks, we're all in for a big.
Save the neck for me, Clark.
Clark throws Eddie a tired glance. He puts a smile back on and prepares to carve the turkey. Clark puts the gleaming knife to the turkey. He punctures the hind end. A great gush of gas escapes. Everyone leans back from the table as the turkey sputters and coughs. The slit in the turkey's skin flutters as the gas escapes. Clark's leaning back. The gas runs out and the sputtering stops. Clark leans forward and looks at the turkey. The legs slowly begin to rise up on their own. He leans back again. His look is curious and mildly frightened. Everyone leans back again. The legs are standing straight up. The wings pull away from the body and extend themselves. The incision Clark made begins to expand. It tears slowly from the crotch to the neck with the sound of ripping canvas. Clark is leaned back as far as he can go. His eyes are wide with alarm. The skin of the turkey separates like two hard brown flower petals opening in time lapse, exposing the breast meat. A beat and it falls from the bones in dry, dusty threads. Clark fishes through the debris and comes up with a can of prepared poultry stuffing.
Ed, did you make the dressing?
I gotta confess, Clark, it's store-bought. Found it in the RV last night. All you gotta do is pop the top off and it serves it up.
Ooh.
Clark glances down at Ellen, seated at the other end of the table. She offers a stern, silent warning for him to keep quiet. In the living room, Bethany's cat approaches the Christmas tree and sniffs the needles. In the dining room, Clark has served everyone their turkey threads. He makes an announcement.
Since this is Bethany's 80th Christmas, I think she should lead us in grace. Bethany?
What, dear?
Grace.
Grace? She died 30 years ago.
For the love of God and country, she won't wear a hearing aid because she says it makes her look old. They want you to say the grace, the blessing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For
which it stands,
one nation,
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
Visible.
And with justice for all.
Justice for all.
Amen.
In the living room, Aunt Bethany's cat is playing with the Christmas tree lights, batting them. She bites a strand and pulls. She backs up, pulling the lights off the tree. In the dining room, everyone's eating in silence. Art picks through the overcooked food with disgust. Nora scowls at Eddie's kids' horrible table manners. Louis power spits an olive pit into his hand. Bethany is eating with a huge serving fork, which Frances removes from her, replacing it with a conventional fork, all of which she's oblivious to. Clark takes a bite of Jell-O mold. Eddie feeds the dog under the table. It crunches loudly and tastes terrible. Clark Sr. cuts Audrey's meat for her. Rusty struggles to keep Rocky out of his food. Catherine silently apologizes for her family's manners.
I heard on the news an airline pilot spotted Santa Claus still on his way in from New York.
You serious, Clark?
Clark gives Eddie a tired look. He takes a bite of Jell-O mold. He chews. It doesn't taste right. He looks down at his plate. In the Jell-O mold are little dry cat food stars. Clark takes a sip of water and swishes it around his mouth.
Bethany, by any chance does your cat eat Jell-O?
Ellen gives Clark a dirty look. Eddie is chewing his Jell-O, crunching away.
I don't know about the cat, but I sure am enjoying it. Clark, you want to load me up with a little more? It's good.
From underneath the table comes a loud, ugly dog cough. Everyone but Bethany stops eating. The dog coughs again, a deep, resonant crack. The dog coughs again, an extremely long and deep cough. The force of the cough causes the dog to hit the table leg and rattle the glassware.
Ed?
Yeah, Clark?
What's wrong with your dog?
Honey, maybe the bow you put around his neck is too tight.
He was yakking on a bone, but he got up. He's all right now.
We didn't feed him from the table.
Oh, no, Clark. He was probably just nosing around in the trash.
Interior kitchen night later. Trash is strewn across the kitchen floor. Snots has gotten into the trash under the sink and has spread it across the kitchen floor. In the living room, the cat continues to pull the lights off the tree. In the kitchen, Clark and Ellen are cleaning up the mess.
I don't know why he's in here cleaning this up. It was his dog.
If you want to go in there and have dessert, I'll finish.
That's all right. When I was cutting the pie, I found half a Band-Aid.
That must have been Ruby Sue. She was helping roll the dough. Did you find the other half?
In the dining room, Bethany is chewing with considerable difficulty. She swallows hard. Louis leans back and yells to the kitchen.
Riz, you're not doing anything constructive. You want to run into the living room and get my stogie?
Anything else I can do for you, Louis?
He's an old man. This could be his last Christmas.
Sub Ellen will be his last Christmas.
He exits the kitchen. In the living room, there's a close-up on the cat. It's still chewing. It yanks its head for a little more strand. Clark walks in and takes Uncle Louis's cigar case from the coffee table. The lights on the tree go out. Clark looks at the tree puzzled. He walks over to it. He bends down and plugs in the lights. The tree lights go back on. Clark starts to straighten up. He notices something. The strand the cat's chewing on is unplugged. He plugs the lights in. There's a horrendous screech from under the club chair, a tremendous electrical sizzle. The lights dim and then an explosion and the house falls dark. Interior utility room or garage. Rusty holds a cigarette lighter to the circuit box. He resets the breaker and the lights go on. In the living room, Clark and Eddie are at the chair. The others are gathered around and behind. The room smells horrible.
What's that smell?
I think it's your chair, Ellen.
Move away from the wall.
Told you had too many plugs in one socket.
Oh.
Clark grumbles to himself. He and Eddie lift the chair and carry it out from the hall. Everyone leans in to see what's behind the chair. There's a collective gasp.
Oh, God.
Close up on the floor, the blackened, smoldering outline of a cat scorched into the carpet. Close up on Aunt Bethany and Uncle Louis. They're trying to see past the others.
What is it?
It's nothing. Let's go finish our dessert.
This one's got 9 lives. She just spent them all.
Dad, can you get the door?
What are you doing, Clark?
What does it look like I'm doing? Throwing the weighted chair.
Is it ruined?
Honey, you and I will not outlive the stink of this piece of furniture.
What did you do with the cat?
There's nothing to do anything with Ellen. It blew up. Eddie found its asshole stuck to the wall, for God's sake.
Watch your mouth.
Oh, sick. I thought it was just a piece of licorice that Rocky spit on the wall.
You know, Clark, somebody had a got hit with that thing. It could have put an eye out.
Thanks for sharing that with me, Eddie.
Everything's fine now. Let's just carry on. It's tragic and distressing, but it's over.
Exterior house curb. Clark and Eddie dump the chair on the parkway next to the Santa and the reindeer. Clark notices an odor.
If you wouldn't mind, Clark, I'd like to see if I can fumigate that chair. It's a good quality item. Mind if I ask how much it sets you back?
Smell something?
Deep fried pussycat.
Oh, some kind of gas. It's coming from the sewer.
Eddie picks up the Santa and sets it over the sewer grate.
That ought to take care of it.
Clark shakes his head in disgust and heads back up to the house. In the living room, Uncle Lewis is alone. He's standing in front of the tree. He's lighting his cigar. He puffs furiously and he waves the flame under his stogie. He shakes the match. It won't go out. Interior living room, Clark has come back inside. He's putting his coat in the closet. There's a flash of intense light from the living room and a low-pitched poof. Clark dashes into the living room. He rushes in and recoils in alarm.
Lewis!
From his point of view, Uncle Lewis is happily puffing a cigar. The quick, intense flash fire has left the tree a blackened skeleton. Clark looks on in horror.
The tree!
Uncle Lewis looks up, oblivious to the raging firestorm behind him.
What are you yelling about?
Look what you did to my tree!
Uncle Lewis catches the signal and turns to look at the tree. He turns around. His backside is in flames. Clark, horror upon horror. Uncle Lewis, he's looking wide-eyed at the burning tree. Clark rips a curtain down and dashes to Uncle Lewis. The smoke detector goes off. In the kitchen, the women are cleaning up the kitchen and getting dessert ready. Christmas carols are playing on the radio. The TV's blasting for Aunt Bethany's benefit, and Ellen hears the smoke detector.
Is that the smoke alarm? Sounds like it. Lewis probably lit a cigar.
In the living room, the tree has burned out. Clark slowly unwraps Lewis from the curtain. Uncle Lewis, his toupees in his face, his cigar crushed but still smoldering.
Riz, you're on my priority shit list.
The tree is a blackened skeleton. The ceiling is blackened. The few gifts that were placed around the bottom of the tree are charred. The ornaments and lights are fried. The carpet around the tree is melted. The family, minus Clark, is in the living room looking at the burned tree.
It was an ugly tree anyway.
At least it's out of its misery.
Will Santa Claus still come?
That's a good question, Rock. Catherine, if the trees...
Of course he'll still come, Rocky.
If he's smart, he'll stay well clear of this joint. It's a death trap from stem to stern.
Mom, the tree burned down. The cat blew up.
I know, honey, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Dad's gonna flip out, right?
Nobody's going to flip out. We're going to have a wonderful Christmas. We just have to be patient. There's nothing to be upset about.
The doorbell chimes. Clark stomps in from the kitchen. He grabs the front door handle and whips it open. A delivery boy in a blue uniform is standing at the door. He's holding the door knocker that's been torn off the door in his hand. The door wreath with blinking lights is dangling around his arm. His other hand is poised over the doorbell, index finger pointed. He's shocked.
What the hell do you want?
Hi, sorry. Sorry, guys, where are we?
Page 107.
Oh, I have a delivery for Clark W. Griswold. I was supposed to deliver it yesterday, but it fell between the seats and I didn't see it. Sorry.
He holds up an envelope. Clark, his angry expression withers as he sees the envelope. The delivery boy hands him the envelope.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I can't believe it.
What is it? A letter confirming your reservation at the Nut House?
It's from my company.
Your bonus?
A bonus.
Open it, Clarky.
Clark, I hope it's a fortune.
I never saw such a sight. Jesus.
I never knew. I was afraid.
You got a ball all over it, or are you going to open it?
I was going to wait until tomorrow to tell you all this, but what the heck. With this bonus check, I'm putting in a swimming pool. That's it. That's the big one.
Open it, honey.
I'm sorry if I've been a little short, everyone. I've been waiting for this check to make sure the pool goes in as soon as the ground draws. I had to lay out the money in advance until this little miracle arrived and didn't have the money to cover the check.
Tear the sucker open, Dad.
He tears the envelope slowly and deliberately, teasing himself and the others. He brings the envelope to his lips and blows, inflating it. With great flair, he reaches 2 fingers into the envelope and snares its contents. He withdraws a green slip of paper. He waves it in the air.
If there's enough left over, I'll fly you all in to help us dedicate it.
Clark, I can't swim.
I know.
He turns the slip of paper over and looks at it. Close up on Clark, his face freezes. He stares at the check. He lets out a strange, high-pitched giggle. Then he turns deadly serious. The family stares at Clark, unable to understand his sudden change of spirit.
Clark, what's wrong?
Clark doesn't answer. He just stares at the piece of paper.
Honey, is it bigger than you expected?
He shakes his head no.
Smaller?
He shakes his head again.
Well, what is it?
When you're a membership in the Jelly of the Monk Club.
Oh, God, Clark.
That's a gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward. That is indeed.
Clark, I'm sorry.
If this isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I've ever got, God damn it! Listen, if any of you are looking for last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. Like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with the other rich people. I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. I want to look him in the eye and tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, steak-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, egg-red, puss-nosing, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, heartless, hopeless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-licked, lip, warm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Yes.
Amazing. Clark storms out of the room into the kitchen, leaving the family silent. Close up on Eddie, he grins. Ellen clears her throat.
How about some eggnog?
Off screen, a chainsaw kicks in. Outside the house, Clark comes out of the garage with the chainsaw roaring. Ellen and all the kids hurry out the front door.
He's got that look, doesn't he?
We should have gone to Hawaii.
Turn that thing off and get in the house.
He ignores her and heads to the corner of the house.
I'll talk to him, Mom. Hey, Dad?
Close up on Clark, he turns to Rusty. He has an angry look in his eyes and a chainsaw in his hands. Rusty steps back.
Good talk, Dad.
Clark turns from Rusty and marches across his lawn to a blue spruce on the corner of his property. He lays the chainsaw into the trunk and yells at the top of his voice.
Timber!
In Todd and Margot's house, they're sitting in the living room having cocktails, listening to New Age Christmas music. Aren't you just the tiniest bit sorry we didn't get a Christmas tree, even if they are dirty and messy and corny and cliched?
Where are we going to get a tree at this hour on Christmas Eve?
Behind them, the end of Clark's blue spruce crashes through their window. In the master bedroom later, Clark's washing his hands. Ellen is scowling at him.
What?
Was that really necessary?
What?
Making a scene like that? May I remind you?
That this was my idea? No, I'm not well aware of it.
Could you keep that in mind next time you go berserk?
I didn't go berserk. I simply solved the problem. We needed a coffin, tree. There are no tree lots open on Christmas Eve. Your uncle burned down my tree, so I simply replaced it as best as I could.
You're okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Clark picks up his chainsaw off the bathroom vanity and exits. In the foyer, Clark comes down the stairs. He grabs the newel post and the ornamental piece atop it comes loose in his hand. He looks at it angrily, puts it back, starts up the chainsaw, and levels the newel post in one clean swipe.
Fix the newel post.
Outside in the street, the burned tree is on the curb next to the chair. The RV backs out of the driveway. In the living room, the new tree is up and has been hastily decorated with ornaments salvaged from the burned tree. A single strand of lights, melted elongated bulbs, and charred tinsel. The family has reassembled in the living room. Clark walks in and places presents under the tree.
What's that sound? Do you hear it? A funny squeaking sound.
You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
Here too.
We hear a faint but distinctive high-pitched squeal. Interior laundry room. Snots is locked in the laundry where he's thoroughly chewed up a full load of wash. He stops chewing. He looks at the door. His ears perk up. Interior living room. The squealing grows louder. Everyone leans forward to listen closer. Close up on Clark. He leans down to the tree and has a listen.
I don't hear it anymore.
From his point of view, thick, fresh branches with charred ornaments and a single strand of lights. From inside the tree, Clark's hand separates the branches as he peers into the tree, a sudden look of shock. From his point of view, a squirrel leaps into camera. All hell breaks loose as a wild, crazed, shrieking squirrel bursts into the room.
Holy infants!
People are running every which way. They should have called Thomas Morrison, bumping into each other. Nora faints dead in the middle of the room. Lewis's cigars spray as he rams Clark Sr. Ruby, Sue, and Rocky are screaming at the top of their lungs. The women are screaming. Art decks Francis on his way out. The squirrel goes up the drapes and leaps onto the couch. Close up on Bethany. She's oblivious to the mayhem. Close up on Bethany's legs. Befitting her age, she's sitting with her legs relatively far apart. A beat and the squirrel runs up one of her legs under her skirt. Close up on Bethany, a puzzled look on her face. She grimaces and gives a yank at her undies.
Oh my! I hope somebody got me a girdle. This one's pinching and binding something terrible.
The family's in horror as they watch Bethany. From their point of view, Bethany is still unaware of what's up her skirt. We can see the squirrel scrambling around her lap. Close up on Lewis and Clark. He looks up from Bethany to Clark.
You can write that son of a bitch off. Nothing goes up there and lives to tell about it.
Clark and Lewis look back at Bethany, a beat, and they scream. The squirrel flies into frame. Interior foyer. Everyone's huddled in the foyer, screaming and shivering in revulsion.
Quiet! Shut up!
The screaming dribbles out.
We don't want it to get out of the living room. Give me a coat. Where's Eddie? He eats these goddamn things.
Well, not recently, Clark. He read that squirrels were high in cholesterol.
Thank you, Catherine. I'll try and trap it. I'll try to trap the thing under a coat. Audrey, get me Grandpa Art's overcoat. Rusty, go get hammer.
What do you need a hammer for?
I'll catch you in the coat and smack you with the hammer.
Ruby Sue screams. Francis faints. In the living room, it's silent. Nora's out cold in the middle of the room. Bethany's still sitting on the couch. Clark and Clark Sr. tiptoe into the room.
Nora?
For whatever reason, Nora's playing dead. She lies perfectly still.
Is it gone?
Nope. Just lay still. Clark, you want to get Bethany out of here?
Dad, do you honestly think there's anything else the squirrel could do to her?
That's the point.
Clark steps lightly into the room. He makes a chirping sound. There's no response. He's on full alert, nerves tingling.
Elle probably got scared and ran back into the tree.
From Clark's point of view, he's moving toward the tree. As Clark steps over Nora, she starts to slowly get up. She lifts her butt in the air, afraid to move too quickly. As Clark passes, camera goes with him, revealing the squirrel on his back. Clark Sr. sees the squirrel and yells.
It's on your back!
Clark screams, turns, and plows into Nora, spilling her ass over tea kettle again. It's mayhem in the foyer as everyone runs in opposite directions. Ellen and Rusty burst into the kitchen. Catherine crashes into the dining room table. Clark flies into the kitchen. In the foyer, there's a wild scramble for the stairs. Everyone runs up. Audrey runs out of the kitchen with the squirrel clinging to her head. As she passes the stairs, the squirrel leaps onto Clark Sr. and onto the stairs. In the laundry room, Snot bursts through the door. In the foyer, Snot charges in front of the kitchen, decking Art. In a spray of foam and spit, the dog tears up the stairs, barking and snarling. A beat and the people that ran upstairs plow back down. In the living room, everyone charges into the living room. In the foyer, the squirrel, followed by Snots, clambers down the stairs and runs into the kitchen. Exterior, Margot and Todd's house on the porch. Todd and Margot stand on the porch. You march right over there and slug that prick in the face.
I can't just attack someone.
If you're not man enough to put a stop to it, I am. She marches off the porch, heading for the Griswolds. In the foyer, Clark cautiously comes back in. It's silent. Snots and the squirrel charge in from the kitchen. Clark grabs the door handle and whips the door open. Close up on Margot, she's standing in the door. Her eyes pop and she screams. From her point of view, the squirrel leaps for her face. Snots is right behind, heading for her midsection. In the foyer, Clark slams the door.
Girl's gone.
In Margot and Todd's house foyer, the doorbell rings. The front door opens. Margot steps in. Her face is clawed from the squirrel. The bottom half of her outfit is torn off. Her pantyhose is shredded and hanging around her ankles. Her top is clawed open. Close up on Todd, he's horrified.
My God, what happened to you?
Close up on Margot, she pushes the hair out of her face. She draws back and throws a mighty punch. Todd hits the deck. Margot steps over him and heads for the stairs. In the Griswold house foyer, Clark comes down the stairs in a Santa suit. Ellen and the kids follow. Catherine is behind them. Art and Francis are at the closet getting their coats.
Where do you think you're going? No. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out of this fun old-fashioned family Christmas. No. We have a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. We're going to press on. We're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap dance with Danny fucking Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down the chimney tonight, he's going to find a jolly bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
You're goofy.
Don't piss me off, Art.
Clark, it's over.
Not according to Santa's watch, it's not.
Done.
Dad, stay out of this.
I think it's best if everybody just goes home before things get any worse.
How the hell can it get any worse? Take a look around, Ellen. We're at the threshold of hell.
Exterior mansion, the RV whips out of a long driveway and hits the street on 2 wheels. Interior house kitchen, Clark Sr. is talking to Clark.
Son, I love you. We all love you. This is a terrible night. Nothing's gone right. It's a disaster. But you're sitting here singing like a lunatic. It only makes things worse. Look, you're too good a father to act like this. In the years to come, do you want your children and your family to remember all the love you gave and how hard you tried to make the perfect Christmas? You just cocked it up. It's okay. It happens. Go upstairs, put on some fresh clothes and a happy attitude.
All of our holidays were always a mess. How'd you get through it?
I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
Good talk, Dad.
Good talk, son.
Are you going to recite the night before Christmas?
Nah. It's your house, it's your Christmas. I'm retiring.
In the living room, the family is seated in the room. Clark's standing at the fireplace.
Children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while a vision of super plums danced in their heads. When out on the
Exterior
lawn,
house. Oh, sorry. The RV
Not
roars
alive.
into the driveway and slams to a stop.
while on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter.
Exterior house, the RV door flies open. In the living room, Clark steps from the fireplace as he physically interprets the poem.
Awake to the window, I flew like a flash, tore open shutters and threw out the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave fluster of midday to objects below. What to my wondering eyes should I appear but a miniature sleigh and Eddie, my cousin, and a man with no brain, and my boss in his jammies all wrapped up in chain.
Interior foyer, the front door opens and Eddie enters with Frank Shirley. His hair's mussed, his face is red with anger. A Christmas bow is tied tightly over his mouth to silence him. He's in his pajamas and slippers, bound wrist and ankle in dog chain. He mumbles and grumbles with rage. In the living room, the family is gathered in the doorway in stunned silence. Eddie wears a proud, big grin.
Merry Christmas, Clark.
Clark is speechless with shock. Eddie looks at Frank.
You ready to do some kissing?
Frank's eyes bulge in horror. Exterior mansion, Frank Shirley's house. The lights are on. In the mansion, Helen Shirley is on the phone. She's frantic.
Yes, my husband's been abducted by a man in a leisure suit.
In the Griswold living room, the ribbon and chain has been removed from Frank Shirley. He shakes the cramps out of his wrists.
I've never been treated like this in my life.
I'm sorry, this is our family's first kidnapping.
You're fired. Where's the phone? I'm calling the police.
Hold your rod there, fella. Clark didn't have nothing to do with it. This was my idea.
All right, he's still fired. You're going to jail.
Several pairs of jack boots run across the snow.
No, it's my fault, Eddie. I lost my temper and I got my bonus, and I said some things I shouldn't have.
How did you get a bonus? I cut out bonuses this year.
A fresh clip is slammed into an assault rifle. In the living room, Clark is offended by Frank's arrogance.
Yeah, thanks for telling us. I was taking a check and it said I just got a roll in a jelly club. 17 years with the company, and I've gotten a Christmas bonus every year but this one. If you don't want to get bonuses, that's fine. But when people count on it as part of their salary, what you did just plain
licks it.
Thanks, Russ. My brother-in-law, whose heart is a lot bigger than his brain,
I appreciate that, Clark,
is innocent. I'll be more than happy to take a rap on this, on my behalf and on behalf of every other employee you bear this Christmas.
Close up on Frank. He feels guilty. He looks around the room, from his POV moving across the sad, confused, angry faces of the Griswold family. Clark's weary face, Ellen's embarrassment, the children's confusion, the cold anger of the grandparents, small common people who are righteous in their innocence. Close up on Frank. He can't sustain his anger. His heart melts. He sees firsthand the people his bloodless policies affect. After a considered pause, he offers his apologies.
Sometimes things look good on paper, but lose their luster when you see the effects on real folks. A healthy bottom line doesn't mean much. If they get it, you hurt the ones you depend on. But Carl, whatever you got last year, add 20%.
Merry
Clark's
Christmas,
bursting
Ellen.
with joy. He looks to Ellen, to the kids, to the rest of the family. The family delights in the news. Ellen runs to Clark. He lifts her off her feet.
Merry Christmas, Ellen.
Outside on the street, police cars, 3 suburban squad cars grind to a halt. In the living room, Rusty holds up his hand to Clark.
To the old-fashioned fun family Christmas.
Oh, thanks, Daddy.
Merry Christmas, son.
Thanks, Art.
Exterior, Todd and Margot's house, porch. Police officers stream into the house. In the living room, Clark, he turns to his family with a huge grin.
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Floored, sentimental music comes up. Camera pulls back from Clark out the window to the lawn and 24 police officers on the lawn. To a street jammed with police vehicles and cops. Exterior, Griswold house. Police commander barks a sharp order. In the house, Uncle Lewis stands at the front door. A wave of officers approaches the house. Lewis saunters into the living room.
Raise, you got just what you need, more friggin' company.
Close up on Clark. He turns to Lewis, puzzled. He looks to Frank Shirley.
Frank, did you call and let your wife know you're all right?
It occurs to him that he's forgotten to call his wife.
No.
In the living room, the windows are bashed out by rifle barrels. In the foyer, cops storm the door. In Todd and Margot's house, in their bedroom, Margot's in bed alone. There's a knock on the door. Go to hell, you worm! If you want to come in here, you're going to have to break down the goddamn door. The door blows off the hinges. Armed officers charge into the room and clamber over to the bed, to the window facing the Griswold house. In Clark's house, living room, police charge into the room.
Freeze!
The family freezes. Clark's on one foot, arms out, caught in mid-stride. Ellen, Clark Sr., Francis, and Frank Shirley are caught in a rising squat. Nora freezes, adjusting her bra. Audrey's adjusting her underpants. Rusty's about to sneeze. Uncle Lewis is frozen, holding a lit match. Art is bent forward in pain. Rocky has a finger in his nose. Catherine is holding a hanky to Ruby Sue's nose. Eddie is adjusting his balls. Bethany continues to drink her eggnog. Snots is in the corner, frozen in a half-seated position. Outside the house, a police car pulls up and stops at the curb. A middle-aged woman, Helen Shirley, gets out. A high-ranking officer greets her and escorts her into the house. In the living room, the police hold the family at gunpoint as they search the family.
I think you made a terrible mistake.
I told you to freeze!
May we blink?
In the foyer, Mrs. Shirley and the officer walk in and cross to the living room. In the living room, Frank is frozen in semi-squat with his hand in the air.
Ellen.
Thank God you're all right.
I'm fine. I'm just fine. There's been a big misunderstanding tonight.
Excuse me. Would you and Mrs. Shirley like to step outside while we take care of business here?
There's no business. I'm not pressing any charges.
What?
It was a mistake.
Frank, you were kidnapped.
I did something I shouldn't have, and these people called me on it. This is Clark Griswold and his family.
Welcome to our home. What's left of it. What's going on here?
Remember how I was toying with the notion of suspending the Christmas bonuses?
You didn't.
I changed my mind. I'm reinstating all the bonuses.
Of all the cheap, lousy ways to save a buck, I'm ashamed of you, Frank.
You're not gonna fire me, are you, honey?
Close up on Rocky. He's standing at the window looking out.
Look!
Everyone turns to Rocky. In the foyer, Rocky runs into the foyer and dashes outside. The family, the police, Frank and Helen exit. On the front yard, Rocky stands on the lawn looking up at the sky. Everyone comes outside and gathers around him. A red dot of light low in the sky. He looks up at the light with a grin.
That's the Christmas star. And it's all that matters tonight. Not bonuses or gifts or turkey or trees. It means something different to everybody. And now I know what it means to me.
Aunt Bethany standing in the doorway of the house. She begins to recite softly.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly I can't sing that. My voice hurts already.
Close up on Lewis. He's standing next to Santa on the curb. He has a cigar in his mouth. He strikes the match on the Santa's ass and lights a cigar.
It ain't the friggin' Christmas star, Grace. That's the light on the water treatment plant.
Clark, a terrible thought crosses his mind.
Super gas.
Lewis finishes lighting the cigar and shakes the match. Clark makes a move for Lewis.
Don't drop that.
Lewis flips the match over his shoulder. The match drops into the sewer. There's a flash of light and explosion. The explosion blows the Santa and the reindeer and the Merry Christmas sign into the sky. Everyone hits the deck. Bethany remains standing. She looks up into the sky. The Santa rockets into the air, glowing and sparking. Bethany looking to the sky, she puts her hand to her heart and begins to sing again.
The blobs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there.
Oh,
say does the Star-Spangled
Banner
For the
land of the free
and
home of the brave.
Aw.
Ruby Sue looks up into the sky. The Santa and the reindeer and the sign arc across the full moon. Ruby Sue has a huge smile.
Uncle Clark?
He looks at Ruby Sue. She points at the sky.
Santa Claus ain't bullshit. He's real.
Clark looks at Ruby Sue and gives her a wink. In the living room, Frank and Helen, the police, the grandparents, Eddie and his family, Rusty and Audrey are crowded into the living room. The grandmothers are serving coffee, the police commander's playing the piano, and the officers are singing in less than wonderful voices, "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus." Outside on the yard, Clark's still in the yard looking up at the Christmas star. Ellen puts her arm around his waist.
Merry Christmas, Clark.
Clark looks up at the star. He grins triumphantly.
I did it.
He laughs to himself. Snots returns from the squirrel chase and saunters over to Clark. Clark looks down at him. Snots looks up at him, sucks, coughs, and spits. A troubled thought crosses Clark's mind. Snots puts his paw between Clark's feet. Ellen stands in the doorway.
Clark, are you coming in?
In a couple minutes, honey.
She goes off inside and closes the door. The lights in the house go off. He looks down at Snots.
Merry Christmas, Knots.
Fade on Clark's smiling face. The singing dog's rendition of Jingle Bells comes up, and in Todd and Margot's bedroom, night. They're in bed.
It's over, honey. Griswold had his Christmas. Nothing else can happen. It's quiet. It's peaceful. All is calm.
Will you just hold me?
Of course. Let's go to sleep and let visions of sugar plums dance in our heads.
I'm so tense.
Sweetheart, if we don't go to sleep, Santa Claus won't come.
You're so cute. A long beat, and the Santa, the reindeer, and the lights crash through the ceiling into the bedroom.
It's
Lead
that
scene.
time. Christmas time is here.
Yay.
Everybody knows there's not a better time.
8 of us did like 25 parts.
The whole time?
Well
Me
done.
Bravo, everyone.
Me singing in that loud voice, my cat was meowing at me constantly. He's like,
Amazing. Everybody was stellar. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
that was so much fun.
Hey,
And Curtis, thank you. Awesome job.
Curtis, MVP.
And for Jessica for jumping in on all of the
Mhm.
stage direction. Oh my God. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
Did we ever hear
much.
back from Kate? Is she okay?
Oh my God. And of course George's mustache.
Where's
And what?
that mustache?
Thank you. That mustache has got me through a lot of
What?
readings.
Mustache has got me through some hard
What?
times.
I missed that part.
So some hard times, yeah. No, yeah, it's been coming in handy for these readings.